Coming to Canada with a visitor visa in 2023, does it worth it? Does it worth the stress? Does it worth the money? Does it worth the headache and everything that you have to pass through? So guys, welcome back to the channel. So let's trash this out while I go look for something to eat. I wanted to go and buy something, so I'm on my street. So I have this question on my YouTube handle. Yeah, someone sent me a mail, like a personal message, asking for an advice if he should come to Canada with a visitor visa. And he has a family, he has a wife, he has children he wanted to sponsor. So the question was, should he come to Canada with a visitor visa while he sponsors the wife to come as a student? So guys, this is my take on such question. Number one, you want to come to Canada as a visitor, then sponsor your wife while still on visiting to come study as an international student. What I will say is, first and foremost, if you can afford to sponsor your wife to come study as an international student in the first place, why are you coming as a visitor? Do not forget, except this person cannot afford to pay for such school fee, like to sponsor the wife while still in Nigeria, that is the only time I will say this is reasonable. But one thing you guys also forget, or let me say the person that has that question, and I'm very sure I'm doing this because I know it will not be only useful for that person alone, because I'm very sure there are other people that have such question or are having thoughts about that, about doing the same thing, right? So what I will say is, if you do not have the money to sponsor your wife while in Nigeria, so what you're planning is coming in as a visitor, then working. Are you planning to change your visiting visa to a work permit, or are you planning to work illegally while on visiting visa? Because there are two ways to it. Coming in as a visitor means you cannot work. Legally, you cannot work. Illegally, you can work. Yes, it is possible. And don't forget that working in Canada and on your visiting visa, you have just 6 months. Remember, guys, you cannot spend more than 6 months at a stretch. Even if you have 10 years on your passport, you have 5 years on your passport, you can't spend more than 6 months at a stretch. So you have to like go back and come in. So if you plan to come here and maybe work illegally, because that is the only way you can work, except you actually transition to a work permit, are you saying you're going to raise the fund to sponsor your wife education in 6 months? Of course, you can't even get a job immediately you land. It is not possible, because you have to like pass through the under the table stuff, which you cannot be caught. You cannot be caught doing that. So are you saying you're going to raise that money within 6 months? That is my question for that person. That was what I actually asked, like, and I tried to clarify things. So what I will say from my hand is, it is not worth it. If you can afford to sponsor your wife on student visa right from Nigeria, why not do it in the first place? Why coming in as a visitor? But if you are already here on a visiting visa and you know you have the money, some people, let me say, Nigerians, let me say, because of what we are passing through in our home countries, most times you don't have the patience to wait. And one thing Canada will teach you patience. You can't do anything in a hurry here. So one reason why so many people will not want to go through maybe the studies route is because visiting visa can be denied actually. So it's not only study visa that can be denied. Anything Canada, anything can be denied. Once you don't have the proper documentation, all things are not perfect according to what the VO wanted, definitely it will be rejected for you to make amend. Denial doesn't mean they are not allowing you to come in. They are asking you to make amend, do some things right. There are some things you did that are not okay, so they want you to correct such things. That is the reason why you get refusal. So saying you want to come in as a visitor only for you to sponsor your wife coming in as a student, to me it doesn't make economic sense, because you would have spent so much. You provide proof of funds for yourself coming in as a visitor, and you cannot make money to sponsor your wife to come to Canada as a student within that few months that you have to spend at a stretch. So why not just stay back home? If you can only afford to sponsor one person to come in as a student, if you cannot afford to pay for everybody, the children, the husband, everybody at a time, let that one person focus on that one person. All the proof that you need to put for your visiting visa, put it for that one person to come in as a student. And you only had some things to it. Yes, it will be more than coming in as a visitor, but what you need, the extra you need, wouldn't be so much. So you had to that let that wife or the husband come in as a student. The moment they land here, you process just one person. The moment they land here, if they are able to get a job on time, you must have paid some parts of the tuition fee before they land. So they don't have to pay the tuition fee what with the money they are earning here. The moment they land here, they can file for you to join them. In that way, nobody is coming as a visitor. Nobody is coming. You are coming in as a temporary resident through the study route and filing for you and the children, you, the spouse, you get a work permit, which means you can work full time. You can, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section if you think it is wise, because to me, it is not wise. If you all want to come in as a visitor at once, you can come in. Maybe you have another plan. You have plan B of maybe getting a job, getting an LMIA job, or you have plan B of seeking asylum. Because, guys, I will not even lie to you, that is the reigning thing now. That is what is reigning. So many people are coming in as a visitor nowadays. It's crazy. And maybe because that is the fastest actually, and it is less expensive, because immigration now is really costly. Immigration is costly. You can immigrating to any country will cost you some funds. Some people, it will cost them sweat. If you are not rich, it will cost you a lot. You have to borrow, you have to sell some things. But coming in as a visitor only to sponsor your wife as a student, it's a no for me. If you are already here, you have the fund, or maybe you are already here and you're confused as to what next to do. You do not want to declare asylum, and you do not have an LMIA job, but you still have some time. Yes, you can sponsor your wife to come as a student. Given that the moment your wife lands there as a student, they can actually file for you so that your status changes from visiting to maybe work permit. Yeah, it is only on that basis that I will agree that once you are here as a visitor, you can sponsor your wife to come as a student, so that when they land here, or your husband, when they land here, they can actually file for you so that you will not be hanging. Then they fight for you to get the work permit, because the moment your wife lands there or your husband lands there as a student, you can both, if it is just one day to the end of your visiting visa, go to the border flagpole and get your work permit, so you change your status immediately. Another reason why I will support people that are already here, people that are on asylum. Now this is actually working and it is reigning, it is the new trend. People that are here on asylum now are sponsoring their spouse to come in as a student, so that just in case things didn't work out the way they planned, they have a plan B. Did you get what I'm saying? They have a plan B. Asylum decision is not in 1 year, it's not in 6 months. It takes some time. Some people takes 2 years, some people takes 4 years. So while they are on that, waiting for a decision to be made on their case, the wife is here studying. Maybe before they even conclude their case, the wife is done studying. The wife will file. I think it works that, because I've seen people do it, but I don't know the outcome. But I've seen people filing for their spouses to come in as a student after declaring asylum. I don't know what story people are giving, because asylum is, in short, guys, I need to make a video on the do's, on the pros and cons of asylum. In fact, guys, I need to make a video on the pros and cons of asylum seeking. Because, guys, I don't know what story people give. Depending on the story you give, I don't know how easy it will be for you after you must have declared asylum, only for your spouse to come in as a student and file for you. Or maybe they arrange a wedding and say they are just getting wedded newly, after the person has gotten a PR. But guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. My verdict still stands that it doesn't make economic sense for you to come in as a visitor, only for you to file for your spouse or to sponsor your spouse to come in as a student. Why don't you gather that money together and just sponsor her from scratch instead of wasting money? So that is my verdict, and I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you guys for sticking around. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to your loved ones. See you again in my next video. Bye.